welcome to the Monaco Streaming Film Festival. We're here today to talk about experiences as an NFT artist with the wonderful LATASHA.
Hi guys, how you guys doing?
I'm the one, yeah. Bow down to the queen. Call me Empress Makeda, Queen of Sheba. Bow down to the queen. I'm the daughter of mystery. You niggas can't sit with me, no.
Boy, you better recognize, check the vibes. I don't gotta compromise, I ain't your size. Baby, look up the thighs, you go blind. My black soul radiant, the true light. This is all God magic, no clay. This is all self-made, don't play. Y'all gon' feel the queen in deeper ways. 2020 ready since fucking 88, bow bow. Y'all call it apocalypse, I call it change of style. Paradigm shift, feminine taking grounds. Always had the gift, y'all can feel it in the crowd. Nothing like these others, I've been prepping for it, woo. 10,000 hours I was chipping at it, woo. Now my past life looking at me like, woo. I don't gotta lie to the people, fam. Had to become the goddess that I knew I am.
If you don't know, LATASHA is a very good musical artist. She raps, she's amazing, and she's become a very good leading, I would say, source of inspiration really in the NFT world.
Thank you.
I mean, for those who don't know, other than that lovely introduction, could you tell us a little bit about your background as an artist?
Sure, I am a rapper, singer, songwriter, producer. I just like to call myself an artist all around. And I've been making music for about 9 years now, almost 10, and I can't believe it. And I started out just accidentally, I like to say, by God's magic. I was thinking I was going to go to Broadway and do the whole theater thing and ended up just rapping. And it was a really complex journey being a woman rapper. As a lot of people know, this is a real situation. And I always wanted independence. And since then, I figured out independence in various ways. And the one that I'm in right now is NFTs.
Yeah, that's a great point of like, how did you actually get into NFTs? Because you are a trailblazer, being the first female rapper involved in the space.
Yes. So I got into the space through my partner, Jamal Reynolds. He's a 2D, 3D artist and filmmaker. I also feel like we mentally, subconsciously manifested this whole thing because all of the artists, including Jamal and myself, have been thinking about not having a middleman anymore and thinking about direct to the persons and people and the consumer, and have been thinking about independence. And the pandemic hit and we were like, okay, what are we doing? Because this music thing is very hard during a pandemic, obviously. And I did have sync and things like that, luckily and gratefully, but it still wasn't like sufficing the wellness that I needed as an artist. And then one day Jamel was like, yo, babe, I'm selling my art online. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, do you know what an NFT is? And since then, we dug and did the homework. And I sold my first one in February.
Congratulations
on
that.
You.
I know, and that's started not even a trickle, like a cavalcade, right, of successes in the market for you.
Yeah, I've sold over 50 NFTs now. I'm also one of the first artists to put music video up on the blockchain on NFTs. And I have also become community lead at ZORA NFT protocol. So I support other artists on onboarding them into this whole new world that we're in.
We'll get a little bit into your role at ZORA
Yes.
in a little bit. But the one thing you already touched on really is the independence. So is that the major difference or one of the major benefits to, say, being an NFT musician versus going the more traditional way? Like, what would you think of the differences?
Absolutely. I think there is so many benefits to being just a musician and an NFT and an artist in NFT period. I think one of the benefits, of course, is independence and autonomy and having the opportunity to have leverage in all that you do now. And because everything is on blockchain, there's transparency. You get to see how much you're making. You get to see the consumer. You get to connect with the consumer directly. And community is so beautiful and valuable within the NFT space. I feel like I always had this weird bitterness with community before. And now, because there's safety in this space and security growing in this space, community is real here. And I'm just always so grateful for the community and everybody that I'm a part and walking this journey with.
Not to go super capitalist and American on you on this.
Let's do
you're
it.
Talking about community, and I'm going to take it to money.
Yeah.
We're like, who cares?
First.
We'll get into community as well.
Yeah.
Like, because you made a really good point when I saw you last night. Your music video sold. Someone else has it up for sale now. The royalties are sort of built into NFTs, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's an easier collection format, but also very fair. Like every time your work is sold, you get a piece
royalty.
as the original creator.
Correct. So that's called the secondary market. And what we receive on certain platforms like ZORA, you get a creator share and you get to choose your creator share. So I've always kind of chose around 25% to 30 or 40 even. And for this one music video that you're talking about, Mactiverse, it's on the secondary market right now for $4 million. And when it sells, myself and 4 other artists that were a part of that project will be splitting $1,500,000 and something dollars, which equates to like 30% of the 1,111 each. So it's a beautiful, beautiful new world that we're stepping into on equity levels. Yeah.
So it is a lovely sort of reimagining of the world. So you're almost, to get into economic speak, you're sort of cutting out the rent extractive practices that
absolutely
exist in current societal systems.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just saying this is what you're worth, this is what you deserve, and it goes direct to the artist now. And the collectors are so incredible and have been connecting with the artists in like deeper ways and wanting to work with them on other levels. I have friends like Verte, who's an artist, and she has a collector that she now gave a part of the masters to for one of her records. And I think that's another edge that you could bring into this space as well.
I'll take my capitalist hat off now. and
That's okay.
We'll get more into like the nice stuff.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned a collaborative community. I guess 2 questions would be, how does the NFT collaborative community sort of work? And then also, what does it do? Like, how does it help you as an artist to sort of have that level of backing?
Well, the community works through various platforms, mostly social media right now, because we're still working through Web 2. So a lot of it is on Twitter, Instagram, and a little bit on Clubhouse, I would like to say, where people just meet up and talk about their NFTs, what they have going on, or talk about what's going on within the NFT worlds and who's dropping and et cetera, et cetera. But the other beauty is like NFT NYC, where we have conferences and connections and all that kind of stuff. And we meet in real time. So I met a lot of great people this week. And I was so excited because it was like, oh my God, I've been talking to you for like 5-6 months on Twitter. And now it's like, we're real family, and just communication allows for that. So it's been super amazing to just connect with other artists and not feel this competitiveness or the sense that you're doing better than me or anything like that, because everybody has grounding right now and feels rooted and secure in what they're doing.
I would say the NFT NYC experience is very different to any conference I've ever been to. Just even from a presenter standpoint, I was on the subway home, wearing the lanyard, and this girl sitting next to me literally pulled out her phone and was like, "Are you speaking at this conference today?" I was like, that never happens for anything else.
That's so crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, that's the type of joint this is for real.
Yeah, it's very refreshing, I think.
Yeah.
So now, actually, speaking of collaboration, you mentioned you're the community lead for ZORA. So I guess for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about what ZORA is and then what actually it means for you to be the community lead.
Sure. And I adore ZORA. ZORA is an NFT protocol. It's a platform that supports autonomy and sovereignty for artists and creatives and developers. It's an open source code form that allows for developers to take the code and create their own platforms pretty much if they wanted to. So I like to call ZORA a little son And then there's a bunch of planets around Zora, like Catalog, like Alta, like Art House, which are other platforms that are creating within Zora. And I just really believe in the ethos that Zora is about, because they allow for so much more freedom than any other platform I've ever seen in NFT. And they brought me in, and their idea for bringing me in was, we want to see artists on the table. And I mean, not on the table, because I'm not going to jump around on the table, but maybe I will. But they want to see artists sitting at the table and saying what we need and the necessities. And I've been allowed to be an artist and also support beautiful artists coming into the space, on board over 100 artists now. And, really find a way to make people feel valued within a space that could often feel gatekept. You know, I feel like a lot of artists in this space are like, wow, I feel like I have a world here that really appreciates me and appreciates what I'm doing. And so shout out to Zora.
So Zora is a format to sell your NFTs on.
Correct.
And is it just for music, or is it any kind of art?
No, there's all kinds of art on Zora, everything from text to meaning stories, to poetry, to performance art, dance, music. And a lot of music is also on Catalog, which is built on Zora. So it's like one of one just songs that are there. Music video, which I've been propelling big time onto Zora. And yeah, anything you want. Anything you want.
Right, so dust off stories I used to write.
Yes. Bring them on.
Give it a try. I mean, I write for a living, so sure, that can't be that bad.
Yeah. No, come through. Bring it on. There's also Mira, which is another platform that's adjacent to Zora, that you could write your stories on and get like funding for as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So also you can actually, that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's like crowdfunded.
One question I actually have, and I don't want it to seem ignorant, but people out there may not know as well. So I'm pretending I'm asking for the straw man, not for myself.
Okay.
If you sell something as a one of one song, for instance, does that mean only one person can listen to it?
No, it's shared forever with everyone.
That they own the rights.
They just own, not the rights. They don't own any of your copyright. They don't own any of the, the things that you own personally. All the person is owning is the NFT, which I like to say is like an autographed form of the work, right?
Yeah.
So like an autographed vinyl or art piece.
I find it easier to wrap my head around the concept for art, right? Because if you buy this, right, and imagine I'm a renowned artist, and you've just paid millions for this. You have the right to display it, but you don't have the right to put that on your shirt or to create any other merchandise off of it.
Right. So, but sometimes with NFTs, if the collection gives you the right to do that, you can go ahead and make your own shirts off of it.
You can make your own terms, right?
Exactly. It's called a smart contract. So that's an opportunity for you to design your NFTs however you wanted to design it.
So I want to go into something you mentioned when we spoke before. I know you wanted to talk about DAOs.
Yeah, for sure.
That right?
Yes, you are. You are.
So for people who don't know, what is a DAO?
A DAO is a decentralized organization, pretty much. And it's an opportunity for folks to come together for certain causes that they want to see be elevated, or create businesses, or create just homes for people. That's the beauty of this thing right now too, that you could kind of do whatever you want. So I'm in a few of them. I'm in Her Story DAO, which is a collection. It's a collector DAO that is dedicated to just supporting Black women's art and Black people's art, and incubating and conserving and preserving Black art. Within the NFT space, we are still dealing with immense amount of white male, everything. And so
I can imagine it's like a reflection
still,
of everything else.
Yeah, exactly. So we needed a space that would create safety for us, a space that we could be our truest self, and a space that we're supported. And so we created Her Story out of that. It was actually based off of my first piece not my first piece, my first poem that I put up as an NFT called Intro to LATASHA. A group came together and purchased my piece, and then we started making a DAO just to focus on Black women's art that is not supported enough within NFT, and adore her story. And we have a lot coming up in the future.
Yeah, so I guess a DAO is it's a way to get like-minded people within a certain community and sort of tackle stuff together and like, elevate together.
And kind of create your own little cities out of it too. Speaking of, like, there's FWB, which is Friends with Benefits, which is started as a DAO, but now it's becoming its own city on the chain. And it's beautiful because it's like all these people who have really immense amounts of intelligence and content and things that they want to share together live in this little like meta city.
Yes, I don't want to get too down the rabbit hole, but it did make me think of the metaverse.
Yes,
and like potentially how that will all be able to link
yes,
together.
but not Mark Zuckerberg. Very different world.
No, I saw that video and I was like, no, it's not for me.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that.
I don't know, like they're like, oh, you could turn into a seal. And I'm like, no, like
No,
today we'll all be birds.
No, that's not what this is about.
So you also doing a music DAO, right? So is that, or I guess, what's the difference between that and say Her Story?
A music DAO so Her Story is more of a collector's DAO. So we collect art. A music DAO is actually going to help and support and incubate artists and teach them the walks of the NFT space as a musician. That's the hope that it will do. But things always, transform and do the things. Yeah. But yeah, my music DAO will be coming very soon, and it's going to be very focused on music video as well. So hype for that.
So you touched on this just now, but like I want to go ask a couple of questions on it. So how representative would you say the NFT community is versus, say, like the census, for instance?
What do you mean by that exactly?
Like, is it more white dominated?
Yeah. So it's heavily white dominated right now. And that's for a lot of reasons. Education, for one, is like not there for a lot of the Black community on source code and things of that nature. Thankfully, we do have some spaces like Black Girls Code that's supporting women and Black women in learning code and learning how to do this themselves. And then ZORA's working on some open source code that's going to be easier for folks to like just press a button and learn how to do this on their own as well. So things are happening, but right now it's primarily white male dominated. But we're pushing through.
Is that partly because it was, well, I'd say two part. One, because it's very tech.
Yeah.
And I'd say from my own work that we've done at VIP, where I've done consumer surveys asking people, and I feel like the moment you say crypto, it just throws up barriers.
Exactly.
But if you can get past it and even just look at it as an acronym and not worry about what non-fungible means and all this other stuff, it is easier to pick up, but there is that initial sort of barrier of it.
Yeah.
And as well, I think you are seeing some platforms beginning or to think about sales via credit card purchase rather than actually buy like Ethereum or anything else.
Right.
So I think that potentially also acts as a barrier, right? Because everyone's like, where do I buy cryptocurrency? Can I even afford to buy cryptocurrency?
Yeah, but the hope is that we could let go of fiat, and have more of a decentralized coin. I think that I do appreciate folk thinking about that aspect of it and bringing credit card in and things of that nature. But the beauty of crypto is the fact that for a person who can't afford to go to a bank or can't get a credit card or can't do certain things can become a part of crypto and still have equity and savings and something there to hold them down. I've seen like communities in South and like Africa absolutely transformed through crypto, and hearing their stories and like how this is going to like change the economics of so many groups and people, especially Black folk. It's just really powerful. And so I'm always pushing for people to ask the questions. Don't just take the easy route in this. Get to know what this is, because I truly believe it's the future. We're going to have like an Ethereum country one day instead of the scary dollar that we're living off of. I hope the government doesn't get mad about that, but here we are.
I did see someone recently, there was a thread I was reading on Twitter, and it's saying like, well, when we all live in the metaverse, we won't have to pay tax. And I thought, well, you might have to pay some tax, but if you live in a country, you're still going to have to pay for like the garbage man.
Yeah. Like those basic things are cool. But we don't want to pay tax for things that we didn't ask for, right? Like that's the problem that we're dealing with in this country and many countries. We're paying for things we didn't ask for. Like I care about Nassau, but I also feel like that money could go into so many other things. And that's what crypto is allowing us to do. Take that coin and put it into different aspects that we want to grow and see prosper.
That to me is like the core basis to what NFTs are, which is more like a reorganizing of systems to make it much more fair and free.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I guess, is there a worry now you see like earlier in the year, Live Nation and I think it was Warner Music announced their plans for NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
And now it seems like it's gone back into like maybe the conference helped. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the last couple of days in the earnings calls, WWE's talking about it, EA's talking about it. Like it's not just, so is there a worry that the community could change when big corporations sort of dig their teeth into it?
No, I'm not worried about it. I feel like if you know what I mean? And I feel like when the corporations get in it, they'll be missing the key factor, which is community. Unless they're connecting with the communities that are already growing and becoming, it's going to be like just a money scheme. And we often see what happens with just a money scheme, right? It happens and then nobody cares.
If you even trace the movement of like what's popular among young people, it used to be the internet, right? I'm not going to be so bold as to guess your age, but I grew up, I was like 13, I think, when the internet really came to where I was living. Mm-hmm. And the original internet was really cool. You could do anything on it. And then that got very sanitized. And then YouTube came up and then that got sanitized. Mm-hmm. And then social media. And every time it gets sanitized, a new one pops up. So like TikTok is the next thing. And that's going to end up full of brands. Yeah. Now, people always move along and find their own way. So I think that.
Yeah. But I think the thing with NFTs, it's a little different, right? Because we're moving away from Web 2 and we're moving away from that brand vibe, right? Like now we're moving into more of a community. Like instead of a brand can't come to us the same way anymore.
Yeah.
It's more the artist is in the front of everything. And so, it's going to change. And I don't worry about all of that. I'm like, come on in, see what the water is like, Yeah.
So final question, this is flown by.
I know. I was like, whoa.
Do you have any words of wisdom? I'm not saying that phrase you hate.
Thank you.
Do you have any words of wisdom for people who are interested in how NFTs could help unleash their artistry?
Absolutely. My word of wisdom is just step in the water, get in now, because it's about to expand massively. I always tell my homies, get in before the police come. That's my favorite statement. But no, it's going to expand massively. And honestly, NFTs have totally revolutionized my life and have allowed me to just have so much expansion and wellness and a deeper confidence in my creations and creativity. I've re-fallen in love with all the art that I've done. And now, because of NFTs and just putting it out and finding this whole new community that just supports and loves what I'm doing. And as a female rapper, that means so much to me because that wasn't always here. So get in.
I will say, look LATASHA up because she is really, really, really awesome and talented. I'm not just saying that because you're here. I'd say it if you weren't here.
Thank you, Gavin. No, I'm really excited. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Peace.